Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So some of you will have already seen it on Strava or on Instagram or something. I have posted about the race result, so I'll just get right to it and state that I did not hit the 140 half marathon target that I'd set for myself. I came in at 1:42:22, which is still a 10-minute and 22-second personal best. So it's huge. I'm really happy with this result, and I'll get into a couple of reasons why. I'm not making excuses, but just, reasons why I didn't hit the 140. And, it's fine. It is what it is. But yeah, overall, it was really good. And so, just to kind of start things off, I mean, I have not run much in 2020. I really just, other than a few runs here or there earlier in the year and whatnot, I mean, 2020 just started off just, like it was just not, you could start to the year, and then obviously with like the whole thing that's going on globally, I really just ended up not running pretty much until I started this base building phase and then training block before this half marathon. So it was really like August before I was putting in any actual mileage of this year. I think I had less than 150 kilometers run in all of 2020 prior to that. So, I feel like I came from a pretty low foundation, although, it's not like I was unhealthy or unfit, but I came from like a pretty low base, built it up pretty quickly, went through a really good solid training block, and I feel really good with the result, especially given that. But I feel like I'm in 140 shape, and I feel like I would have hit 140 if just a couple of little things would have happened. I mean, you never know how you're going to feel on the day, right? And I felt great. I got out there. I had a local friend who is part of the interval group on Tuesday evenings that, we're done now for the year because it's too dark. But he came out on the bike and paced along. And then about, I don't know, 5 kilometers in or something like that, he ditched his bike, like tied it off, and then ran with me for a good few kilometers, and then jumped back on the bike on the way back. And just having that presence there, I mean, we weren't talking or anything. This was not conversational for me, but just having that presence there was huge. I don't even know that I could have pushed through it at the end when things got tough had I not had that presence there. And then actually another friend who originally was going to run this with me, but wasn't able to, was able to make the end of this and run in for the last like 3K. So that was kind of cool as well. But, so what went right? Well, obviously the training was good. My lead up to this was great. I felt really good, felt really confident on the day. Got up, had some blueberry pancakes, which is kind of Jamie's specialty that she makes for me on race day mornings. Felt really good, felt good energy. I got there, had a little, 10-minute warm-up jog, and just started off great. Felt really strong. Temperature was good. It was about 10 degrees to start, 10 Celsius or 50 Fahrenheit, which is perfect running weather for me, honestly. And just felt super strong right away. My plan was to ease into goal pace, so run it a little bit slower for the first probably 5K. And, I did that as far as the effort goes. There was a couple of, it was on the trail, nice, smooth, flat, even trail. So like, not quite the energy return you would get on pavement, but literally this is the next best thing because it was just super smooth, super even, and overall there was only like maybe, I don't know, what was there overall, 44 meters of elevation gain. So that's like, 160, 170 feet in total cumulative elevation gain over the course of a half marathon. So pretty flat. A couple of like long stretches where you're on maybe a 0.8% grade or maybe a 1% grade, and then you're down for a tiny little bit. They're noticeable, but it's not a big deal. It's all rail to trail, so none of that had like hills in it. But yeah, so, what went great? Well, the pacing right away felt good. It felt easy. It felt like, okay, this is coming really good. Just really found my stride. About 7 or 8 kilometers in, I just had to like pull over for 1 second and just loosen up my right shoe. I was wearing the Saucony Kinvaras. They're a great shoe. I'm not going to say anything bad about them at all. Felt really good. They're so light and they're comfortable. They can easily handle that distance. I have friends who run marathons in the Kinvaras. Personally, I'd probably use something a little bit different, but I mean, I can see it. And just had to loosen up that right shoe a little bit. My right foot is the one that was injured, and that's where I've had so much issue. So even now, even though it feels good, I mean it's a little bit sore today, but like I think that it might swell faster or more than my left foot. So like if I tie it too tight at the beginning of a run, that's something I have to think about. So, but really, I mean, I only lost like a few seconds there. That was no big deal at all, and then it was fine. And so running, get to the turnaround point, feeling good, coming back through, feeling good. Kilometer 13 and 14, or mile 8 and 9, just slight, long, gradual, barely uphill. But I mean, again, like you run a mile or two on a treadmill at 1% or 1.5% grade, you notice that it's up slightly. That took a little bit out of me, but not too bad. And I started having just a little bit. It was shortly after that. I mean, I did have a nice downhill after that, went for a good 2 or 3 Ks. So I was able to make some of that time back up. But I started having a little bit of a stitch or discomfort sort of on my right side and more on my back, like towards the kidney area. And, it was just like a tightness, and it just affected my breathing. My legs still felt really good. Overall, my breathing still felt fine, but it was just that enough that it probably took about like 5% off my performance. And that was enough in the last 5K that I just couldn't push through. I mean, normally what I would do is, run the first 5K of a half marathon slightly slower than goal pace, then pick it up and just run like goal pace the next, you know, 10 or 11 kilometers. And then really in that last 5K, start picking it up. Goal pace for this run was a 4:44 kilometers. So my plan was the last 5K to pick it up to like starting to get into that lactate threshold a little bit, like, 5 or 4:35, 4:30. Maybe run one at like a 4:20, and then maybe the last 2 kilometers come in at like a 4:10 and a 4 minute kilometer, and just a fast finish. Like that's something that I feel very confident I can do. I can pick it up at the end of a half marathon. It's not a long enough distance that I'm out of energy, or I'm out of ability to really find another gear at the end of that. But I just couldn't find that next gear because of that discomfort. And so the plan to make up, that little bit of lost time in that last 5K, it just wasn't possible. Otherwise, I would have, I think, easily gained back that 2 minutes and 22 seconds just in that last 5K. Or at least really close. But you know what? In any case, again, it's fine. I felt good. I felt strong. My legs felt really strong. The trail's in good shape. It was a beautiful day. It warmed up a little bit. By the time I finished, it was about 14 degrees. And, I was warmer than expected I would be, or that I'd hoped that I would be running this. I was kind of hoping that the temperature would stay more in that 10 to 11 Celsius. One other thing that was weird, and I don't know if I jinxed myself a little bit, but I mentioned it to Alfredo, the guy that was biking and running with me there for that, is that after about 5K in, I noticed a slight headwind, and I even mentioned it to him. I was like, it's not much, but it's noticeable, but at least we'll get a tailwind on the return, because it was an out and back. That just wasn't the case. We got turned around, and probably the last 7 or 8K, that wind flipped around, and there was a headwind. So I pretty much had a little bit of a headwind the whole way. but it actually was fairly strong. You know, probably like 12 to 14 miles per hour. So like 20, 25 kilometers per hour when it would gust and pick up a little bit. It wasn't quite sustained at that, but I mean, it was noticeable. And I don't think it really slowed me down, but it sure as hell didn't speed me up, right? It would have been better if it was a tailwind. That's just the way it is. But that's okay. So again, you know, not making excuses. These were just a couple of things that happened. I mean, you know, a couple of the reasons why I didn't break the 140. I feel like I'm in 140 shape, and on another day I would have hit it. But just that discomfort, that was the biggest thing, and I don't know where it came from. I don't know why it happened, but I did take a gel at like 14K, and I know that that doesn't cause me discomfort. I can take a gel. That went down okay. Like, you know, it didn't cause any stomach issues or anything like that. I practiced that during training, so, you know, that wasn't a problem or didn't cause it. I was taking enough liquids in. Just wasn't the day, but that's okay. So, again, enough of this. You know, it's been 11 minutes already of me just kind of rambling on, but I just wanted to kind of, you know, share how it went, recap how it went, talk about how I felt on the day. And now today, I have to say, last night I was pretty sore. I did a little bit of tossing and turning last night. I mean, it was an effort, that's for sure, you know, and I knew it was going to be close. I knew it was going to be difficult. Like I said, my legs felt good yesterday. My legs are feeling it today. And it's especially in my quads, my hamstrings, you know, it's my upper legs, like, and I know that's a weak spot for me. My calves feel like I didn't even run yesterday, so I know that I have a little bit of an imbalance there, and it's something I've continued to work on. I should be doing more weights and squats and stuff like that, but again, you know, it's just something to learn, right? So, all right, well, I'll leave it there. Time trial went okay. I'm happy with the result. Again, a 10-minute and 22-second personal best. Cannot complain about that at all. I mean, this is, you know, I'm looking at a 142 and change marathon and thinking, or half marathon, and thinking like, you know, a couple of years ago when I did my run streak and I was still like a newer runner, a couple of years into running, I would never have thought I was running close to that 140 mark. That's for sure. So really happy, really excited. Don't know what the next thing on the agenda will be. I might tackle the 10K. I might even go out and do another attempt at the 140 in a couple of weeks or so. But for now, just going to enjoy some resting, some relaxation. We're into that kind of holiday vibe and mood here in this household now, so probably going to take it relatively easy for the next few weeks. Looking forward to 2021 and the next challenge, whatever that may be. So thanks again to everybody who has followed along on this, given me support along the way. Hope your running goals are going well. Hope everything that you're doing works out for you, and that you have the result you're looking for on the day. And that's all we can really hope for. But okay, thanks again, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Come on, John. You did it, man. How was it?
Same as always, terrible for all of us.
How was it, John? How do you feel?
That was tough. I dealt with a stitch the last 3K or so, but I came in about a minute and a half over the goal, but
You know,
So-
it doesn't matter.
it's still an 11-minute personal best for me.
Good.
So, oh,